Hello, and welcome to the Cup Ringside, where we give you the best seat in the house to all of our thoughts on everything wrestling. And today, we have had an amazing week prior to this. Like, WrestleMania is still floating around in my head. The everything that went on in WrestleMania is still floating around in my head. And to top off our WrestleMania extravaganza of a week that we had, we're giving you the Topher WrestleMania experience because Topher's boots were in the ground in Philly. He was in Philly to enjoy all the many moments that most of us here on the panel just got to watch on TV. So we're just gonna have like a little moment for Topher to give us all of the experience of WrestleMania. And I, for one, am excited. But I am Lana, by the way. You're an evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea because you know I love me some tea per. And if you have something you know to do, hit me up. I'm not drinking anything because I'm not thirsty right now, but I will say get your cup merch. Get
Merch.
your cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. So check that out. We do ship here in the US, Canada, Mexico for sure. Internationally, we're working on it, but it's coming. Work.
It was quite the pleasure. And I am Topher, the resident WrestleMania on the ground correspondent. And let me tell you, this was the most incredible WrestleMania that I could have ever possibly have attended. Now, I did not know when tickets went on sale, and I immediately jumped at needing to get these tickets. But first off, let's talk about the financial success that WrestleMania was, because this financial success came at the expense of Topher's pockets. Okay. So I went to WrestleMania 38. At WrestleMania 38, I was sitting in the front riser section. So essentially like floor seats right in between the ramp and the ring. And the view of the ramp was absolutely incredible. I could see everybody coming down the ramp, the live performances, all of that. Spectacular. To see the ring and to anything happening on the monitor, I had to go like this, right? Because the ring was up and above me, further over yonder there. And to see the monitor, I had to really look up straight ahead. So, yes, it was cool. It was nice. It was fun. The same price that I paid for floor seats 2 years ago, I was in section 228. These tickets were so much more expensive than what I would ever have paid to go to a wrestling event for where I was sitting before. But I gotta be honest, section 228, I had a full view. I could see the ring, I could see the ramp, I could see everything. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I honestly would probably prefer where I was sitting now to where I had been that last time. And definitely where I was sitting compared to where I was sitting for the Royal Rumble, which was, because it's a baseball field, set up to where I was all the way like, it was not ideal. I couldn't see the ring at all.
Yeah, look, I kind of understand what you're talking about because something so simple as where you're sitting is can create the whole experience. When I went to WrestleMania 34,
34.
yeah, 34, I paid I paid a good chunk, but not a whole lot more money. I'm sure what I paid for those seats now wouldn't even have be enough to pay for the upper level seats unless I waited to the last minute and got some little, you know. But it was like you said, first level. I was in first level of the at the Superdome, so it was like the floor, and then I was in the level above that, and you have the good sense of the ring and everything else. We went to recently. I went to an NXT show, floor seat. Floor seats was right there by the ring, but the ring is so much higher than you. You can't see in the ring. So I still ended up having to look up at the monitors to see what was happening in the ring. So I was like, I would prefer to get the seats a little bit higher so I can look down into the ring instead of trying to look over people's heads and into a ring that's set up here. And I can't, it's set up here and I'm like down here and it's weird, but
And
yeah.
people think they're like, how can you see anything? I mean, like, I'm a fan of theater. I go to the theater. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
paying the hundreds of dollars to sit on the floor at the theater. I sit up in the higher balcony area and I have no qualms against seeing the stage. Wrestlers are big, big men. Okay. That's the number one thing that you can like expect to see out of wrestler is like a short wrestler is like 6'2",
Mm-hmm.
which is still taller than me. And they're so large in stature. And it was interesting because so first I'll back up and let's talk about going to the world.
Okay, wait, I got you.
Yes.
I got you, Topher, because I was not gonna let you have this experience of
So
talking about WrestleMania without having all of your precious, precious
the,
memento.
the world was incredible. So in years past, they've had Superstore, which is like sort of like just like kind of a little bit of an experience of getting to um, kind of it's like sort of like a convention-y type stuff. Well, this year they decided that instead of into everything costing independently of itself. So like when I went uh, at 38, I went and it was only like $10 to get into the superstore, and you had all of the like shopping items. But then like I paid extra to get to do the walking down the ramp. I paid extra to get to do the commentary. I paid extra to get to do the like Undertaker museum. So like all of that costs extra. This time they said, you know what? One price gets you everything. And so it got us into the world. And it was an extremely cool experience getting to be, so first off, getting to be surrounded by wrestling fans. Wrestling is such a niche enjoyment, right? And like it's anytime I talk about wrestling with people just in my regular day-to-day life that are not like part of the CUP podcast or 3 to 4 select wrestling friends that I have, like it's like, oh, I didn't know wrestling was like still on, or like I didn't know, I liked it back when like The Rock was wrestling. I have to be like, well, guess what? The Rock is
It's
wrestling.
wrestling.
Yeah, but they don't know. So to be
Right.
surrounded by wrestling fans, that it's like all weekend long, the ones go up and everybody's ones go up. You hear yeet, no yeet, yeet, no yeet. And so it was just a really, really cool experience. And so in it this year was they had an Attitude Era museum that had all of like the artifacts from the Attitude Era. And to my surprise, they had stuff featuring Gold Dust, featuring Chris Jericho, like did not shy away from the fact that these people have been a part of this company, despite the fact that they're part of another company. They had the
Mhm.
Bray Wyatt exhibit,
Yes.
which was so
Oh,
heartbreaking. So they had the Firefly Funhouse, and they also had like a little an area that looked like it was like a rocking chair. They also, and then they had all of the mascots that were at Extreme Rules inside of little glass cases. They had Eddie Guerrero's Lowrider. They had the cages from the what's it called, the Survivor Series, the
oh.
cages for the that you wait in until you go, the
Mhm.
War Games
Yeah, the
cages.
pods, the pods.
Yes, the War Games pods. So they had that. They also had during the thing, so I didn't get to participate because Randy Orton took 30 minutes to come up on stage from when he was supposed to. And so we had good seats to get to see Randy Orton's exclusive interview with the world. But he took too long to get up there, and we only had a limited amount of time. So we said, you know what, screw this. We're going to get up and go walk around. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And it's, again, where they had the entrance ramp thing where people get to pretend to be a wrestler and go down the entrance ramp. The amount of times you would hear Cody Rhodes' theme song come on, and then the whole room just goes, "Whoa!"
Whoa.
So that was an absolute blast. I loved every minute of it. And then we got into the superstore, and the superstore was crazy. Everything was like half that lot. It was hard for me to find a large in like anything. That's how I ended up in this Phillies 76ers Wrestlemania XL t-shirt because it was the best like event tee that I could find. Typically I like to get the one that says I was here. Did not have that in a large size. Probably could have found it at the stadium itself, but I opted not to. So then we ended up going to the stadium itself, and it was absolutely crazy. 74,000 fans packed into the arena in the freezing cold. So it was 50.
I want to before you jump ahead to actual WrestleMania. Let's talk about this world more. I want you to give us the experience that you had because you talked about it, and
Yes.
you put all these pictures. And I want to show them off because
yes. So this was the Attitude Era Museum. So they had Undertaker. The outfit that he wore, Stone Cold Steve Austin, an outfit that he wore at WrestleMania 13. Like that's the actual vest with boot. A stretcher from the Attitude Era, the SummerSlam poster that was like draped down, when they're in the arenas, how they used to just drape giant posters. You had the SummerSlam poster that's in the back there. WrestleMania 14's Shawn Michaels actual vest from there, as well as Triple H's actual vest was there as well that he wore at WrestleMania 14. The ugliest WrestleMania logo, according to the Cup Ringside.
Absolutely. And you can check out that tier list right there.
Was very much so celebrated with Triple H's tights and then a ringside chair from that WrestleMania. So it really like brought me back in and getting to like walk through this like older style, like it just brought back every bit of memory that I've had from like being a wrestling kid and seeing these things in person, because like I didn't get to go to a lot of events when I was like a little kid. I think I maybe had gone to like a SmackDown or like a live show, but I really didn't start going to wrestling events until I got older and I was in my later teens. So like I really missed out on any of these specific live stuff, but this was like my childhood VHS tapes over and over again. And this is Chris Jericho's shorts, like honoring Chris Jericho. They didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And like there was also a video package that also showed Chris Jericho. And I love that we are, as very much so mentioned, in the Paul Triple H Levesque era. They made sure to be certain that we knew that this is a new era. I think it is largely understood that WrestleMania X7 is like the main event of the Attitude Era. Like that is where the Attitude Era ends, and it is like the best blow off WrestleMania of all time. This WrestleMania, I believe, it can be considered more of a series premiere WrestleMania. And it will look back in hindsight as, instead of this being a blow off, this is actually the beginning. Yeah. Because there's no more Vince. Vince is gone. Yeah. And so we finally get to see the throne from one of Triple H's greatest entrances of all time, per the Cup
we talked about.
And that's me with my WWE and World Heavyweight Championships. And that's the other thing too, of like being surrounded by, like, I'm not the only one with the belts.
No,
and I have so you can get the belts in a couple of different ways. They can come with like fake leather, fake like plastic belts, and then that's the lowest tier. Then you can have what I have, which are the real leather with the plastic plating, which is like what most people have. And then you can get the real ones that are like $1,000 or more, and that's with the real leather and the real plating. So, but it's sort of a flex to be walking around with the championship, and everybody else also has their championships, and it's just really cool. Like, just shows that you're like
a real true to this.
Yes, you're living the gimmick. You are truly a fan, and it's really cool. I hope to collect more belts. It's like I have this goal of like I want to have like an actual ring worn belt at some point. That'll be really cool.
That'll be cute.
They had Yes, the ECW entrance. I can't believe I did this instead of this. I don't know. I was just in the moment. So they had the old ECW entrance set up to get to come in. Like you couldn't actually go in and then come out, but like I got to stand there to pose for the picture. Like just all of this like old artifacts that are like you're like actually there. You're here in the middle of the world, WWE world. Could not be a more aptly named scenario. Like just how much fucking fun. Sorry, yeah, how
That's
much
the
fucking fun
fun.
is that? You know,
Being your
and
wall of belts.
this was cool. So they had all of the championships. These actually, and they had little like these are ring worn championships that they had. And they had little placards of like the people that held them. So a belt cycle only lasts like 2 to 3 superstars before they replace the belt with another one. So it was kind of cool. Like this women's belt was the one that was held by Trish Lita and Ivory. You have the Intercontinental belt, which was held. That was that from back from the Attitude Era. This is Gunther's former current belt. And then even some old school Intercontinental championship here and some old school women's championship belt from like back when they did not put Fabulous Moolah's name on there for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai held on to this belt. So, you know, it's really cool. Like these are, where else are you going to go? Oh, and the King of the Ring throne from the 1996 King of the Ring, which you got to actually like physically sit in. And like, I don't know. I just, it's like I was a kid in a freaking candy shop. Like this is insanity. And all the while, every like, other minute, you hear Cody Rhodes' entrance go off because somebody else is coming down the ring to Cody Rhodes' entrance, or Roman Reigns. And anytime Roman Reigns is, oh, it's the one.
Obviously. Oh, that is so amazing. I know you had the best time going through that.
It was so good. And thank God, you know, thank you to my wife for just diving headfirst into all of this and to entering into my world and being open-minded enough to be fascinated by it.
Right.
So we get
because some people spouse of wrestling fans just be like, oh, that's your thing. That's
thing.
not my thing. You go and enjoy, but I'm not gonna do that. So shout out to Jen because I love her and she's amazing.
And just lets herself go and has fun because wrestling is fun. Like especially wrestling. Like if you just like people get so hung up on the like, yeah, but isn't it all like fake? I don't know. Like,
I don't care.
You watch on TV fake? You know what I'm saying? Like
movies, we go to the movies and it's all real. Yeah. Like
we go, we no qualms against suspending our disbelief to watch Game of Thrones. Like I'm sorry, there ain't no dragons. That doesn't mean the drama's any less good. And wrestling is the same way. And this event proved it. There's us on the side of the field. There's Jen. There's the wife.
Shout out to Jen. Period.
Yes. Which is insane. Like, so, you know, being in an outdoor arena versus being in an indoor venue is completely, it just changes everything. Now, I was at 33 and 28, now 24. I was 18 when I was 24, and I was not in. That one's fuzzier to me because I was in alternate states of mind at that time. But 33 was post getting sober, and that was at Camping World Stadium. But I grew up in Orlando, so it didn't feel like a unique experience because I had been to Camping World Stadium so many times. I mean, it felt like a WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong. That in itself was there. But like, it's really cool to get to go to a venue and a stadium that's not in your hometown, that's not one you regularly visit. And Lincoln Field is no different. It is a beast of a stadium, and I had to come in and hop on that escalator and ride all the way to the top. And it was good. The seats were really good because, again, we got to see everything. Being able to look down and see as the wrestlers would, like, compete in the ring, and you could see everything if they got tossed out of the ring and all the back and forth. Like during the main event when they split off and you had,
Mm-hmm.
it was Roman and Seth on the ramp and The Rock and Cody in the audience. And like you could see both at the same time. My view was, I could easily see both of them. Whereas I'm sure a lot of other people had obstructed views and had to rely on the monitor. That and the energy from the entrances was
Yeah.
phenomenal. Now, it was 50 degrees on the ground. Up in section 228,
Nope, it was like 20.
windy.
It
Yes.
was like 30 degrees up there, I'm sure.
It was windy. Like
Ooh.
you could feel the wind coming through. So bundled up. I've got hoodie on. I've got a jacket on. Jen went and bought a blanket there. So now we have a WrestleMania blanket because of how cold it was. Thank God it wasn't as cold night two, because night two, but we over prepared night two and then had to carry a bag of like hoodies and stuff. Yes. So this is my spot. This is my ring. I think the top photo I had done the 0.5 zoom out. So you could kind of see everything, but realistically, yeah. So the bottom photo on the bottom though, that's my view. You could see, like I said, you could see everything, especially as it gets darker and
Mm-hmm.
you have the lights are all focused on the ring. It's all lit up. And believe it or not, when you're sitting from back there, your eyes, they start to adjust. Your vision
Mm-hmm.
becomes clearer. You have the ability to see these things. Now, maybe I can't make out their facial expressions, but I can
Right.
see every single movement and it's a good time. And then you have the Titantron that's right below the tent there, and that I was able to see clearly too, without having to like too far adjust my eyes. So I'm like looking at action in the ring and then popping back up to see like movement. The only downside was that I couldn't see what was on the screens for the entrance ramp.
Mm.
If there was something different on the screen for the XL, I couldn't see that, but I could see them coming out, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw, everything that was happening with the live performances, with Rhea Ripley's live performance, and just the stadium is massive. Every single butt like seat is filled with a butt.
Yeah.
Like that is nuts. They said
Crazy.
74,000
Yep.
fans 2 nights in a row.
Yep.
Like that's Taylor Swift numbers. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
That's
And
Beyonce number. That's those superstars who you don't expect that for an event like this. But
no, not
it's
at all. And I knew it was going to be big. I knew it
yeah.
was the 40th year. And these sold out so fast. I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea what the main event was going to be. Did not know for certain The Rock would be there. We thought The Rock had potential to be at 38,
Yeah.
and Rock had potential to be at 39. So there was no holding our breath on whether or not The Rock was actually going to compete.
I want
And
to show your next picture. I'm sorry, I cut you
go
off.
for it.
Your next picture is interesting to me. It's the difference between night one and night two, and how the nights the lighting shifted, because I feel like WWE listened to what the fans were saying about the lighting, because I saw a lot of TikTok videos, a lot of people complaining about how this one bright light just kept shining. They kept like, turn the lights off. And
Yes.
when they finally did, it was like, thank you, because we can't see.
Yes. So, night one, um, they had a lot of complaints about like
Mm-hmm.
the audience that was at home
Yes.
complained that the stadium was not lit up. Now,
Yes.
I was lucky that our light that shined on us was the one light there. But I saw some views from other people throughout the stadium where they had both lights, like two different lights focused on them, and you couldn't see the ring because of the glare. So
Mm-hmm.
we got lucky, but yes, sections to the left of us and sections to the right of us were very, very upset about the lighting and situation. But honestly, like again, you're there, you're in the moment, you're at WrestleMania, you can see, it was phenomenal. I don't know. And they did a lot better with their night 2 lighting in how I felt like they brought it up and then they would bring it back down, and then they would bring it up and they would bring it back down. So that way the focus can stay. But as you can see, like the ring is lit perfectly. So you can really see from the seats, like you can see the ring and the energy in the crowd, night 2 more so than night 1. Night 1, the energy, it was still there, but yeah, it was cold. People were cold,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, because it started off hot, we got the Rhea Ripley win. Come to find out that Becky Lynch had the 102-degree fever. So the fact that they were able to put on a barn burner like that, and I have since found out that I think Rhea Ripley had actually like a panic attack before going out there. For those two women to put on the banger of a match that they did was absolutely incredible. The ladder match is a little bit harder to follow. It had a lot of fun spots that were really cool, but it was, anytime you see a ladder match live, I've seen like a couple of them. It's a cluster. It's cool. It's fun and it's a spectacle, but it's hard to kind of follow who is who. And that was the only downfall from how far our seats were, is I really could not tell who was like climbing the ladders, especially when like Miz and Austin Theory and like Tyler Bate, and they've all got the same like tights and the short haircut, and I'm like, I don't know who's climbing the ladder right now. So, and it was really but it was such a feel good moment. Like that crowd went nuts when R-Truth won.
Absolutely.
And like, I cannot believe the man this is his first WrestleMania win.
Right. This man's been here for all this time, and it's just crazy.
Crazy. And then I think after that, what like the tag, I'll be honest, the tag match was the opportunity to get up and go to the bathroom. It was a cold match. Yeah, they didn't even have an entrance set up for Andrade, so he was a last minute substitute. I did come back, and I didn't know who it was that interfered. And they took the mask off, and I could tell that it was Jason Kelsey, but I didn't know who the other one was. And I was like, neither one of these are Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
No.
So it's like, all right, next. And then the Jimmy and Jey Uso, where I think this match suffered was, I just think there was an element of the super kick used to be a finisher.
Yes.
And when your whole match is just like super kick after super kick after super kick, and then they spent a lot of time on Jimmy being like, "Oh no, don't hurt me, don't hurt me," and everybody in the crowd is like, "Come on, we know what's gonna happen. He's gonna turn on you. Don't trust him. We're not buying it." Like, and that went on a little bit too long. I think what could have made that better storytelling wise is maybe have Jay do something that looked like it actually injured Jimmy. And then Jay's feeling like legit concerned, like, oh snap, I didn't mean to actually, like, we're just competing here. I didn't mean to actually hurt you. And then and then Jimmy burn him. But the doing the whole, oh brother, please, I just didn't buy it. And I just don't think people want to see brothers fight. Like they do and they don't. And I felt like in this instance, it just didn't click. But everybody was yeet, no yeeting.
Yeah.
But it was yeet, no yeet, yeet, no yeet the whole time. So I didn't feel like the crowd was necessarily dead.
I think the people would like to see it. I just feel like this was the time for this to be a street fight. Like in the city of brotherly love, you have a brotherly love street fight, and let them go at it, and it make it more believable that. And then, like you said, Jay does something to look like he actually hurt Jimmy, and then Jay is like, "Oh no, I didn't want to," and then he does it, and Jimmy turns on him again and does something crazy. I just feel like they didn't take opportunity that was given to them with the setting of it being like this street fight would have been way better than what night 2 street fight was, because that didn't need to be a street fight. That could have been a regular match. This one I felt like needed that stipulation of a street fight, and so they can go and just really just go at each other until it feels like, okay, now we finally done it. We did it. It just lacked a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah. And which is weird because they should have really good chemistry with each other, but
Absolutely.
not everybody meshes. And sometimes I think that I actually heard it on another podcast that like they're two guys that really feed off the energy of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in the middle of that ring, I know that for outdoor stadiums, it's been said on other various interviews, you can't hear the crowd at all.
Here.
So maybe they didn't know how to react or what to give, and I don't know. So I'm gonna give them a mulligan on this. Maybe they can do a do-over and at a or inside arena and have a
Mm-hmm.
much more banger of a match.
Mm-hmm.
But now they may be turning allies. We'll see.
Good thing.
Um,
I'll finish with night 1.
yeah, and then the girls, the Bianca, Jade, and Naomi, like kudos to Damage Control for putting on an amazing match and being so generous to these ladies and letting them really have their moment to shine. And Jade Cargill looks incredible. And I think that all she should be doing right now is squash matches and make her look incredible, because if she can't compete with a Chelsea Green, then how is she supposed to be dominant? Love Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is incredible, but Jade is still green in her own right, and Jade still has flaws that we don't need to see yet because she's been brought in as a star.
Absolutely.
So give her time to build up, and when she gets to a major money pay-per-view match, then she can have a 20-minute banger that goes back and forth.
Interesting, Topher. It's like you were listening to us do our Laying the Smackdown conversation today that we just recorded. That we had this same conversation about Jade Cargill, and it's like you were there, but you weren't.
Because I'm an old school wrestling fan. Sometimes you need squash matches because that's how somebody looks dominant. Because if ain't nobody dominant, then what's it matter?
Like I said, I wonder if these same people who are complaining about Jay getting these squash matches and things, are they complaining about Braun Breaker because he's getting the same squash matches and he's doing the same thing because they're building him up to be the next big thing. They're building Jay up to be something huge. So she needs to look like she is untouchable in this moment. So she got to squash.
Truly untouchable. Because
absolutely.
in real life, she looks like she could do
She's
some damage.
Superwoman. She's freaking Superwoman. Like, who is going up against Jade Cargill? If I met Jade Cargill at a bar and she talking about let's fight, I'm like, no, girl, you got it. You got it. The muscles say you got it, girl. I ain't gonna do this.
So yeah, Jade is incredible, and she's so over with the audience, and it was that match was everything it needed to be, and it was perfect, and it was extremely, and I know like it's gonna sound weird coming from me, but like it's very inspiring to see 3 very dominant Black women, and to allow them to have the space to share that stage together, right? Like it's not a matter of like meeting a quota or meeting to have like these women earned it and are able to show that dominance and to be there. And it just feels special. And I think that's part of the Triple H era.
Absolutely, it's part of the Triple H era. It was just a good moment. I
You know?
won't talk about it because we talked about it in the recap match, but I will go on and on. So I'm gonna let you do your moment. But okay, go ahead.
So, and then I think we get to the main event, right?
Yeah.
That tag match with.
Oh no, you missed Sami Zayn and Gunther.
Oh, because Sami Zayn and Gunther. How could I miss that? Oh my gosh! Because I went into this not thinking that Sami Zayn really should get the win here, and I also like I also went into this feeling like Sami Zayn shouldn't even be having this spot.
Ooh.
But by the time Sami Zayn finished this match,
Ooh.
this is the art of storytelling. From the moment he comes out, he has that moment with KO in the back. He has the moment with his kid and with his wife, and they're out there, and he is like Gunther is Gunthering, and having his way with him, wiping the floor with him. I did not realize that he was doing a top rope brainbuster. That looked like a botch from the crowd because they did not have the commentary to explain what was going on. So it looks like he went to go superplex him and didn't. But
that's what I thought too when I was watching. I was like, did he just botch that? And they were like, no. And I was like, oh, that was the actual move. Okay.
So, but aside from like that, when he and then this is where magic is, right? Because Gunther, champion for 666 days, and we'll get to surrealness later on, but the surrealness of the 3 count happening, because you saw him hit the hell of a kick once, you saw him hit the hell of a kick twice, and then that hand comes down for a 3. It doesn't feel real, and like it was. And just Samantha Urban on the call, she is the best to ever do it because she feels it. And it's not even like a matter of fact, like that energy, because she's feeling what we're feeling and saying it out loud. And it was just a really, really cool. I'm hoping this means bigger, better things for Gunther. Heck of a run. And I hope that this leads to some really cool stories with Sami, because in the past, under the previous regime, I feel that the Intercontinental title and the US title, for that matter, had been lacking in story. They were just belts that were just put on people that, sure, go have a couple of matches that just so happen to be for this title, but they don't mean anything. I think Gunther has made this belt mean something. And I think that there is a plethora of storytelling devices that can come out of Sami Zayn with this. So it was incredible. I absolutely loved it, and I believed in him and wanted to see him win by the end of the match, and I'm so glad that he did. And then The Rock comes out.
That amazing entrance. Oh, that was the best entrance of the night. Oh my God.
I love The Rock so much. And it was kind of cool because they saved the, like basically Cody, Roman, and Seth are all competing again the next night. So their entrances,
they don't have to be a big entrance that night. They don't have
their entrances were rather basic, but The Rock's was the final boss. And he comes out in the flames, and he's sitting there in the Brahma Bull flames, and just like, just so incredible. And he could still go. I know that everybody was saying that The Rock looked like he was tired, but that's why they put him in a tag match, to make him look good. So that way he could step out of the ring. That way he could. Now, the funny thing is, again, this is where not having the commentary and not being able to see, we didn't know that Rock had threatened the ref. So we're just kind of like all laughing to ourselves up in our section of like, this ref is the worst ref in the history of reffing. What? Like, we understand he's giving leeway, it's the main event, or like whatever, but what logic is this? Like, there's no. And it was perfect. I think they needed to have The Rock beat Cody.
Absolutely.
We needed, and it went for 45 minutes.
Yeah. And for the people who saying The Rock that look tired, 45 minutes in the wrestling ain't nothing to slouch at. So I think that's impressive in itself.
He's still The Rock is part of the reason why this WrestleMania is the biggest WrestleMania of all time. People say so much about part-timers and things like that, and they want wrestling purists and stuff like that. Yes, all of that can be true, but you need a star like The Rock to make this that much bigger, right? Because it makes it that much more important.
Absolutely.
So, The Rock beating Cody, Cody sitting in the ring like he did last year. And
Uh,
Going from night 1 to night 2, wanted it so much more.
it just made it more interesting, and it just
And,
completed the story of that. Like, it just made you, it was just good. It was just good.
and honestly, because of the fact that Cody lost last year, there were doubts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they may not pull the trigger, all the way up until the match was even going on. And like,
Right.
so to run through
Oh,
night 2,
hold on, let me quickly show, because you sit in. I have to show everything. I have to show
oh yes,
everything.
oh yeah,
I gotta show everything. So hold on.
WrestleMania Saturday in the books. What an incredible show this was. That Triple H promised the best WrestleMania of all time, and I think that he's absolutely delivered on that thus far. Every single match was an absolute banger. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't believe that main event was just absolutely incredible. Like once in a lifetime. You're never going to see that again. God, I am just absolutely in love with wrestling right now. It is incredible. What you think, man?
It was incredible. It's just night 1. Night 2 is going to be just as amazing, and it's just been an amazing time so far.
That's my wife. She was very
That's
drunk.
your wife. That's your wife. That's your wife. You gotta love it.
It just came off of such like a high, and I love The Rock. The Rock is my guy. That's my favorite superstar of all time. And he left. He went to Hollywood. He abandoned us wrestling fans. He denounced wrestling for a while. And then he came back. He had that little thing with John Cena, but at the time I was like such an I was like, no, you're not ruining CM Punk's career. You know what I mean? He came back and he wrestled CM Punk twice, which in hindsight, CM Punk got 2 main events with The Rock, back-to-back pay-per-views. Like that's like huge, and he complained about it being a thing. So like it was not on the CM Punk train for a while after he left WWE. But it's still like The Rock, I don't feel like was as in it. And there was something about this being like The Rock's baby that you could really see the passion and the energy, and like The Rock cared so much about this match and this story and all parties involved. The one thing I will say is that it felt like I had to keep reminding myself throughout the weekend and like all of the hype and the buildup of like anytime it was like Rock and Roman versus Cody. Oh, Seth was there too. Seth was part of that.
He was there. He was there.
And Seth did a great job.
Absolutely.
So we get to night 2. We shout out to this bar called Palladium that's right outside of the stadium district. So the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, the Phillies football or baseball stadium, and the Wells Fargo Center are all right in the same like parking lot. So all 3 are like right next to each other. There's this bar called Palladium that was all decked out in wrestling stuff. They had vegan options for me. We hung out there for like 3 hours prior to night 2. We ran into some org friends right beforehand, so that was really cool. They had managed to get so they opened up the section right behind the entrance ramp, like last minute, like the week leading up to it. So they were able to get tickets to that relatively obstructed view.
Absolutely.
Because they're behind the entrance ramp, so it's fine. But
I don't know what night I don't know what day this is.
I don't know. When was this? I don't
hold on, let me. Wrong one again. Here it is. Which one was this? I don't know what night it was, and I just wanted to make sure that nope, I just took it out. Never mind. Hold on, put it back in. Don't know what night what this was, but I'll let you explain that.
Well, I think it's just me sitting in the stands. Like, look at this crowd. it's so like the energy that's there, and to be just surrounded by other fans of wrestling and like a full stadium, just all getting ready
Yeah.
to hear. And then the next thing you know, Stephanie McMahon's music hits, and Stephanie comes down to the ring. And Stephanie welcomes us into the new Triple H era. Like from Paul Heyman's speech at the Hall of Fame
Yes.
to Triple H coming out to Stephanie coming out, like they wanted to really push. They buried Vince McMahon because they wanted it to be absolutely known that everything you are seeing here is new, fresh. It is we are starting brand new, and you're going to love everything you're going to see from here on out.
Absolutely.
So then Drew comes out with the swords, and I love Drew McIntyre. He's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. And then Seth with the parade, a little bit. You know, like CM Punk was just on commentary. I wish he would have been like a referee in the match. That would have been cool. But it was still really cool to like see. Nobody believed that a cash-in was happening, right? Like it's Drew was out there, but then you start to get this feeling of like Drew is staying out here.
Yeah, that is literally what I was saying.
Like, what is he doing? And then the Damian Priest music hits, and he comes out and he does. So I had thought, I didn't realize, because I saw it on the monitor and then Priest's music hits. So I had thought that he had blown a kiss to Priest and said, like, here, Damian, come get your boy. But he blew a kiss to Drew's wife. Yeah.
Right.
So Damian Priest comes out, cashes in. The crowd is pandemonium wild because we just saw 2 world title changes. Like, we have not seen a world title change hands
at WrestleMania
in years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Seth's world title is brand new, didn't exist at WrestleMania, and hasn't changed hands since. And now we've seen 2 world title changes, you know, and Rhea retained. So no world title changes yet, and then we get 2 in a matter of 5 minutes. I am very excited to see Damian Priest. Sky's the limit with what he's going to accomplish. Instantly looks like a star and fits with that belt. So
Topher, it's like you were at Raw Take Monday when we talked about Damian Priest. It's like you were there on that Tuesday when we recorded, but you weren't. But if you weren't there and you want to be there, check out Raw Take. I'll be right there.
I just align with you guys. I get it.
We're all one and the same here because we said the same thing. Me and Wes was like, it's just Damian Priest walked out on Monday night like the champion he was. And he came out there. He didn't even have on purple or black like the rest of the Judgment Day. He came out in his red suit, tailored fit perfection on him. Yes. And he even spoke with so much confidence and conviction when he was giving his promo. I was like, oh, this man, that belt on his shoulder does something to you on the inside.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see like him versus Drew. And it's gonna be good. There's this long term, and here, so there's a couple elements of long-term storytelling that I've learned about after the fact. If you've paid attention in the upcoming weeks, like Drew McIntyre has specifically prevented Damian from cashing in
several times.
So for Damian to cash in on Drew is like story in itself. It's like somebody sitting in the back with a storyboard going foreshadow, cause and effect. We're telling stories, kids.
Gotta tell the whole story. We gotta finish every story.
Right. The street fight was fine. A little sloppy on that table that broke just from putting the man on top of it. Like, you know, it was cool. The crowd went nuts for Bubba Ray Dudley. Obviously, we're in Philly. ECW chants the whole time. You know, the Pride looked good. I don't know how I feel about the name, the Pride.
No, they're the Almighty Prophets. I don't care what they call them. They are the Almighty Prophets. I don't care what they call themselves. They are the Almighty Prophets because that name makes more sense.
And so that looked really cool. It was good. I was glad to see them win. That was a fun match. After that, this was where the lights were the worst. So LA Knight versus AJ Styles. It was the match I was least looking forward to. I just, I cared a little bit, but like I also felt like it just didn't have enough juice and really felt thrown together. And I think LA Knight deserved a better spot on Mania, to be honest. Not that AJ Styles isn't a better spot, but you know what I'm saying.
It feels like you were at our predictions video, and you were. Like, these are the same conversations we had on the predictions video. You weren't with us the entire week because you were going to Wrestlemania and doing your thing. But everything you're saying right now, we either said it on the predictions video, or we said it on the recap video, or we said it on the Raw Take video, or we said it on the SmackDown video. Like, Topher, I think you're Toastradamus. I think you're Toastradamus right now because Wes as much as Westradamus, and he does, and he wins. He won the whole WrestleMania prediction thing. Shout out to Wes. But you are just like saying things we've said too.
Oh, well, thank you. It's I'm just calling it like I sees it. But I couldn't see this match because they had the house lights way up. The sun had just gone down, and nobody could see the match.
That's insane.
So, I don't know. I can't tell you what happened. This was another bathroom break match for me. And I think what came after this was the triple threat match.
Yeah.
What an incredible match.
Yeah.
One, I thought I didn't think Kevin Owens was winning this going into it, but when he did the thing with Sammy right before, I was like, oh, the person to the left of me said, we're going to get a repeat of WrestleMania 20 of, the two best friends having just won the titles, hugging in the ring. We did not get that. We did get an incredible pop-up powerbomb RKO out of nowhere. That was amazing. Did not know. I don't know who iSpeed Show is. I am too old.
Same. I was schooled by my nephew Donovan. He told me who iSpeed was. I was like, I have no idea who this person is.
From what I understand, everybody under the age of 15 fully aware of who iSpeed Show is, and WrestleMania is a variety show, so I have no qualms against that. I hate Logan Paul as a person, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Logan Paul has yet to have a bad match, and Logan actually cares. He's not just a celebrity that's just there for a payday. Like, I think that what Logan has done for WWE, I think a lot of the eyes that are on wrestling right now are in part because of Logan and his fan base. And I think that it's just giving a boost to wrestling that wrestling needs. And I think when they say wrestling is cool again, Logan Paul is part of that. And so I hate Logan Paul as a person, but I really don't even know why. I feel like I hated the child Logan Paul as a person, and perhaps Logan has grown a lot. And because of what Logan has done for wrestling, I am at a point where I am setting aside my judgments for what I think of him, and I'm just going to let actions play forward from what I know of him now.
I will say this, though. You said you didn't think Kevin Owens was going to win this match going into it.
Until the backstage segment.
Because you predicted it beforehand, because you sit in your predictions and you had Kevin Owens winning. So.
Oh, well.
Fact checks. I have to fact check you.
All right. I might have thought that Kevin Owens was winning going into it. I had that solidified even further. I just didn't think they're giving the belt to Randy, and I didn't think that Logan Paul was going to retain because I thought Logan Paul's got other stuff going on. Maybe that there's a Cleveland SummerSlam match of Logan Paul versus Cody that would require the U.S. title to be moved away. But whatever, Logan Paul retained, heck of a match. And then after that was the women's I think the Hall of Fame thing came out. That was really cool. It looked really nice. It was lovely to be part of the Fireflies. So that was really cool. My favorite WrestleMania memory of all time is WrestleMania 33, when Bray Wyatt came out and it was just nothing but a sea of like 60,000 people holding up their iPhone flashlights. And it's just a very beautiful moment, and it breaks my heart. Love Bray Wyatt. And then after that came the Bayley versus Io Sky. Now, this would have been so much more incredible if Bayley had managed to secure Paramore. I know Bayley tried. I think things fell through last minute. But the Simmer package beforehand was really good. And Bayley was really incredible in this match. And I loved seeing Bayley get her moment, get her win. And it's like weird because I think, even though Bayley had won the championship at a WrestleMania before, I think these belts mean so much more now than they did back then. I think the women have really built and put a lot of credibility into it. And I think that winning this belt after winning the Royal Rumble is huge. And so I am very happy to have seen Bayley do it. And now we are going to get to the main event. I was so ready to see Cody Rhodes win this match. All weekend long, that is the only... I saw Cody Rhodes start the story at 38 as a surprise appearance, and it was the worst kept secret, but we didn't know. We just thought we knew, and then like the lights go out, and it was like boom, and we knew Cody may have been coming back, but we didn't realize we were going to get the American Nightmare presentation, and we got that, and it was freaking huge. And so for him to come back again, like, first off, the entrances were phenomenal with the Roman Reigns, with the little opera and all of that. Like, that was freaking money. And then Cody Rhodes coming out. What?
Brandy.
With Brandy.
Yes. Brandy.
Like, welcome Brandy to the WWE. And so it was such an amazing moment. And then, we knew, all right, the match is going back and forth, but like, when is the interference going to start?
Absolutely. It's Bloodline Rules. It's going to happen.
And boom, here comes Solo Sikoa and
Jimmy. Jimmy first.
Jimmy and Jay came out. They did their thing. They had a match on the ramp that was better than the match that they had.
Absolutely, which is why I think it should have been a street fight, but okay.
But then Solo Sikoa comes out. And then John Cena's music hits, and it is pandemonium. It's like, yes, it's happening. It's happening. We're getting it. We're going nutso right now. John Cena comes out, and then we get The Rock coming out. John Cena gets his revenge on... Oh, no, The Rock didn't come out yet. John Cena gets his revenge on Solo Sikoa for beating him at the Saudi show and puts him through the table. And then we get the Shield music, which everybody thought it was Dean.
Me too.
We were like, oh my God, they got Dean.
I said, give me a Dean Ambrose moment for a minute.
Why we thought that, I don't know. But then it was Seth.
I was like, Seth and Dean is coming out. I knew it was Seth. I was like, Seth and Dean is coming out to snatch Roman Reigns back into his place. Like,
to get into Roman Reigns' head. Because long-term storytelling has been told, and we know that the only thing that triggers Roman Reigns and gets him off his game is the trauma that he experienced from when Seth stabbed him in the back. Which is why when Roman faced Seth the first time, he choked him out instead of beating him. Because it didn't matter. It wasn't about winning. It was about revenge. And so Roman chose to go after Seth instead of going after Cody. Because it was that much more important. God, I can't wait till we get that Roman Seth match again.
It's going to be awesome.
And then we go from that to then The Rock comes out. And then what we all thought it was going to be Stone Cold. It wasn't Stone Cold. It was The Undertaker, which is just as amazing and chaotic and crazy because the gong goes off and we all go freaking nuts. And he choke slams The Rock right out of his boots. And then it's left to just Roman and Cody in the ring. And it, like, the moment hits, he hits one crossroads. Then he gets two crossroads. And then he gets the third crossroads. And he goes for the pin. And like I started recording on my phone when he did the thing. I was gonna send it to you, but it didn't go through. Like I'm recording like the event take place because I'm like not paying attention to my phone at all. And I'm just like it like the one to like I am expecting anything and everything because realistically, it looked at the time like we still had half an hour of show left. So like I didn't know what more. Like that hand goes down for a 3.
Ooh.
And it was like it was a moment of like a wave of shock and awe that was immediately followed with like instant like thunderous cheers and crying. I was crying. I started crying, you know, and like I turned to my wife, I gave her a kiss and I said, thank you. And she was like, for what? And I was like, for us being here. Because if it wasn't for you, I would not have this moment right now. And she's like, yeah, you would. And I'm like, no, like, because if she wasn't an avid supporter and willing to go along for this ride and this crazy adventure, I'm not booking WrestleMania trips, you know, by myself to come out to WrestleMania 40. It's not as big of a deal to me. You know what I mean? Like, it just was like so special to me to get to be there for that and to get to see Cody Rhodes like win in this moment and like to be in the arena for such a feel good moment because like the last like, you know, the last 4 times I was at like a WrestleMania, like you had the, you know, the WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair's last match, it was like emotional and stuff. And like, you know, Edge lost to The Undertaker, but it was like via submission and it was like weird because I didn't know what was going on. And then the fireworks hit the crowd and I was also super shot out. But 33, Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker and it wasn't something that we wanted to see. I didn't go home happy. 38, Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar and it wasn't really that like, it just didn't have like a feel to it. But this was feeling like everybody around me was crying, emotional. And then they started to have those moments in the ring, which I did not know were still on air. I thought this was all like taking place off air. And like he calls out Triple H and he calls out Bruce Pritchard. And like, this is where wrestling becomes real. People are like, how can you watch that fake stuff? Because this was obviously predetermined, obviously orchestrated, obviously directed by somebody, obviously, you know, but this moment was real.
Right.
This victory for all of the fans that have been waiting 2 years to see this happen. This victory for all of the fans to feel like Triple H just put on the best WrestleMania of all time that he possibly could have. This moment of knowing that we were there as a part of history at the beginning of something new, this moment that was being shared in the ring that by all of this family and all of that, this is all real. Like the emotions are real, you know? So like it is why I am a wrestling fan. And when good stories are done right and told the right way, you know what? Like I was so mad that Cody lost last year, but to be honest, I think that it made this year that much more important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It made this year so much bigger and better.
Like,
absolutely.
And it was beautiful. And I cried and I still am thinking about that moment. You know, I went on a run today because I'm I just got accepted into the New York City Marathon. That happened while I was at WrestleMania weekend too.
Work.
A big deal. So I started my training for that, and I'm listening to WrestleMania 40 stuff. I listen to Gasoline by The Weeknd. I'm listening to Cody Rhodes' theme song, and like, because that's what, like, that it just feels so right.
Yeah.
And then I watched the Raw after Mania, and like it was fine, but to find out that, like, I didn't know why, like the Rock and Cody segment seemed awkward, but then when I found out the history behind it,
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. Cody came out while Rock was champion and said, "Hey, can I hold your belt?" And Rock said no. Like, there's actual, like, Easter eggs and nuggets and story, and thank God we live in the social media era, which can bring these things to light.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud to be a wrestling fan, and I am so grateful that I have always stuck with it and on it, and that I'm here. I probably will not, I definitely will not be attending WrestleMania 41, just because a WrestleMania trip is very expensive and it's time away from work and things of that nature. The 2 nights of it all is amazing. I hope they never go back to a single night. You can't. It's a full weekend. Like, I feel like it would not. I would rather have the 2 nights of WrestleMania and to get to experience this. It's like you get to experience a thrill twice, and it just feels like it's a major event. It's incredible, and I got nothing.
You're saying the opposite of what I'm doing, because after watching 40, I'm like, I definitely want to be at 41, because I'd never, all the WrestleManias I've been to were all one-nighters, and it was like long days, long nights, and you're exhausted by the time it's over, but you're the adrenaline is still there, but then it's over, and you're like, oh, that's it. I guess I go home now. And it's kind of like, but I want to experience the whole 2-night thing. I want to go, get there, experience the show, and know when I go to bed that night that I get to wake up and do it all over again.
All over again.
It's so amazing.
And like, it's so much build up, because all of night, like, your whole weekend is building up to night 2, so like, it's absolutely incredible. I recommend it, and we don't know where 41's at yet.
No, we don't know. It's between Minneapolis and Las Vegas.
Right. So
like,
hopefully they hold Las Vegas to 42. Although I did see a thing that they might be actually mapping. The reason they haven't released it yet is because they're mapping out the next 3 WrestleManias, like they had done a couple years back, and they're going to release all 3 at the time. And I think I've heard that 43 might be in Miami.
Where?
Miami.
Oh.
Which would be incredible, because that means that I don't have to travel, which means that I can, I'll
get on the train and go down.
Go to SmackDown, WrestleMania, Raw.
Right. You can just go get on the train and go down to Miami. Come on
back.
Yeah.
Because I'm only I'm like an hour away from Miami, if that.
Oh, you're close enough. Oh, please.
Yeah. So I live in a little town called Lake Worth, but it's in Palm Beach County.
I don't know why I thought you were closer to Orlando. I don't know why I thought you were closer.
No. Well, I grew up in Orlando, so that's
right. Okay.
But I'm South Florida, so Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade are all like right next to each other.
Oh, period. Well, if it's in Miami, if they take Miami, I'm definitely going to Miami. But that's
You're going to Miami.
You're going to Miami. Okay. But Topher, this is so great. I love, first of all, because watching it and we got a chance to talk about it without you, because you were still traveling back and forth when we did the recordings. And so talking about it with the rest of the panel and doing our experience to just watching it is one thing, but talking to you when you were there and sharing all the experiences that we would never get to see at home, like the WWE world and all the pictures, and then you have actual like feelings connected to this WrestleMania. This WrestleMania will be forever in your heart as an amazing WrestleMania. It doesn't matter what comes next and how big the next WrestleMania. We can have really huge WrestleManias 45, huge WrestleMania 50, but 40 will always have a place in your heart because you experienced it and you felt that. And I love that for you. I love that we get to talk about it and have this same experience that you can share it with us here on the ringside, because now our viewers could share that experience. So I appreciate you taking the time to take all those pictures. I know you did it for yourself, but to share those pictures with us, to share the videos of you at WrestleMania and talking about how night one it was for you and all of that things. And I'm sure there's other videos that, like you said, they wouldn't let you send because the file was too big, but whatever.
Well, and I'm not certain about the copyright rules.
Right. We don't want to do all that.
But yeah, it's definitely, and it's we're a week removed from the actual event, and it will, I think more will need to be revealed, but I feel like as a spectator, this will be one of the top 5 WrestleManias of all time. I think in the context of history, it has to be, just for what it represents and what it means. And Cody, this is the first time in who knows how long, I think maybe at least 4 years, that we've had new champions.
Yeah.
Not somebody winning the belt for a second or third time, right? Because Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman at the COVID WrestleMania, right? That's it. There was Bobby Lashley won the championship, but did he win it for the first time, or has he won it prior? I can't remember.
ECW champion before.
Yeah, he was ECW champion before. We did get a Big E win.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in a long time we've had new champions.
This is Kofi. I want to say Kofi was one of those.
He was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been, this whole thing's been a blur.
Crazy.
And it just feels like Roman Reigns has been champion since before me and Jen started dating.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane. That's insane. And now y'all are married.
Yes.
He just lost it.
Yeah, and Cody Rhodes is got to be the biggest babyface of the one to really bring us into the new, because I don't think I've ever felt so happy for somebody winning before ever, and it was perfect. So I look forward to it. Let's see what is the line from Hamilton, since WrestleMania was in Philadelphia. History's eyes are on you. That's
I feel like it's going to be very interesting with your love of Cody when you get in the same pod with Amy again, because her hate for Cody is it's going to be two dynamics that I enjoy. I can't wait to watch happen, because I land in the middle. I don't hate Cody. I don't love Cody, but I'm just like, Cody's fine. He's fine for what he is right now. And he's going to do great things for the championship, but we'll see.
I love Cody now.
Yeah, I do like him now.
And that's, I became a Cody crybaby.
Yeah, okay.
And that's because The Rock is as good at what The Rock does, which Cody would not be as big of a star as he is had The Rock not came back. So,
absolutely. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Like I said, thank you. I appreciate you so much for sharing all of your experience with us at WrestleMania. It was a joy for me to get able to talk about WrestleMania again, because we talked about it enough, and I'm thinking that's enough. We talked about it. That's it. No. This just made me excited about it again. It was like, it was such a great night. I might have to go back and watch WrestleMania again because it was so good.
So,
did you get to watch it? That was my question. Did you get to watch it when you got?
I have watched clips. I have watched a ton of clips. I watched a night one 45-minute YouTube night one recap before going into night two, and then I've seen the finish of the Cody Rhodes match countless times.
Right.
I've seen it with just from Samantha Irvin's perspective. Yes. I've seen it with the Avengers in-game music overlay. It's just like incredible. So yeah, so I have seen it multiple times. I will watch it one day in full, but I mean, I'll be frank. Wrestling has been so good that I haven't had to go back and watch past wrestling. So, and it's hard to take the time to sit down and
Absolutely
watch.
It's just getting better and better. So wrestling is just actually this new era I'm very excited about.
I'm looking forward to going to France.
Absolutely.
On television.
On television. I literally we talked about that today. I said, well, I love a good 12 o'clock starting time pay-per-view. Yes. And we can be finished with it, and we can record our reactions the same day, and it still won't be late.
Saturday afternoon wrestling is when is that? It's
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
The 4th, May 4th.
Something like that. Around that time. It's coming quick, and so we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna be here talking about it here on the ringside. But yeah, so thank you so much again. We had a blast. Y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on your way out. Follow our other channels, all 4 of them. 3 other channels plus this one. Follow us on all of our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can follow Topher and myself because why not? We're cool people. You can follow us. We talk about some stuff. Get your Cup merch. At Lounge Stations. That is in the description below. And that's it for us. Cheers, y'all.
Have a good night.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeet. No yeet.
No yeet. Yeet. No
yeet.